In the biggest game of the season, the Jets collapsed last night on Thursday Night Football. 19-3 final score. I was one of the lucky people to attend this awful game. The biggest takeaway that we learned is that Zach Wilson is most likely not the franchise quarterback because he folded under the biggest game of his career that probably made or broke it. And let's be honest, he broke it. Now, is all of it his fault? No, the offense was just overall disgusting. Mike LaFleur had one of his worst days as a Jets play caller. He did not establish the run game. The offensive line was just unbelievably bad at a position that we just invested so many resources into. You know, it's really questioning Mike LaFleur and his offense for how many mistakes there are every single time. Now, I understand that the offense runs a lot smoother when Mike White or another quarterback is in there, but still, there's still so many mistakes. But Zach Wilson was unable to make some of the easy throws. He was unable to elevate the team. He could not see the entire field. I felt like he was just looking at short, when there were guys that were running open. If he just looked downfield a little bit more, if he progressed through these progressions faster. So he struggled under national television. I think he had around 90 yards. He was 9 for 18. So 50% completion percentage. Now, the conditions were ugly. They were terrible. But Trevor Lawrence seemed to play fine. Trevor Lawrence actually played very well, to be honest. The Jets defense, I'm not going to be as harsh as other fans were on the defense, but the one problem that I saw was the 97-yard drive or 96-yard drive. They manhandled our defense there. And I'm surprised how Carl Lawson just did not show up today when he's getting paid big money. And here's another thing. Players getting paid big money on this team. A lot of them. What did John Franklin Myers do? What did Corey Davis do other than drop the football on 4th and 4 in a big-time moment? What is Laken Tomlinson doing getting manhandled? We're paying him like $14 million a year, and this dude is the biggest liability on the Jets' offensive line. Freaking Nate Herbig is better than him. He was picked off on like waivers at the beginning of the season. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the amount of just errors and miscues from all these players that just bundled into a 3-point performance from the New York Jets. Only one turnover. Quinnen Williams was probably the only player who showed up with some fight and soul in last night's game. But the offense, that has been the story this entire season. And now, a lot of Jets fans, including myself, are looking to the offseason where the Jets are going to have to find a new quarterback. Will they stick with Mike White? Will they keep Zach Wilson on the roster? Will they trade him? It's looking like they might. Which veteran quarterback will they go get? Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Lamar Jackson? I mean, it's really sad because the Jets were on a 3-game losing streak heading into this game. Thursday Night Football game, the last Jets home game. Brutal conditions. If they win, the playoffs are most likely going to happen. And they didn't show up. This is probably a worse game than the one against the Patriots at Foxborough. That's how bad it was. I was in those stands, freezing cold, with all the awful weather. I showed up early to the goddamn game. You know, I feel bad for the fans, too, because this was just ugly and inexcusable. It really was. And to be honest, Zach Wilson probably should have been benched at halftime. You know, is all of it his fault? Absolutely not. I am more aware to understand that the offense in general is just not, it's just not an NFL offense. It's not smooth. It's not coherent. There's no running game. Mike LaFleur set him up to fail. And the players are not helping him out either. But at the same time, you have to be aware and notice that Zach Wilson, when he's in the game, the offense looks a lot harder. Players are not fighting as hard. More mistakes happen when he's in there, which sucks. I don't know. That might have been his last start as a New York Jet. If Mike White's healthy, I think Coach Saul is playing him. It sucks. I was big on Zach Wilson, but I think we learned a lot in this past game. 19-3. Everything has already been said before. I just really recapped it all. But it just sucks. We were 7-4 at a point in time. Now we're 7-8. 7-8. It's bad. It was an ugly game. It was the worst of the season. Zach Wilson sold under the biggest game with the spotlight on him. Mike LaFleur sold with the spotlight on him. How is he getting talks about being a head coach? Because I don't see that. I really don't. Robert Saleh had to be a man and pull Zach Wilson at the beginning of the second, or at the very end of the first half. He didn't do it. The defense, listen, they played good in my opinion. Not up to their standards though. That 96-yard drive, come on. 8-minute drive, are we seriously going to let the Jacksonville Jaguars do that? Trevor Lawrence showed why he was picked ahead of Zach Wilson. I was a big Zach Wilson guy. Right now, he's just not the guy. And the Jets are most likely going to move on from him. And that's what we learned. We learned at the hard way. So let me know what you think about this, Jets fans. Sorry I didn't make a video last night. I didn't get home till 1 a.m. since I actually went to the game. And getting out of the stadium was just a nightmare. So yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.